Good Wednesday morning, everybody. This is the Iceman on the Iceman V 2013 YouTube channel. And okay, I got a link in the description box below. It's from lordsofpain.net. Here is what they're talking about. There are rumors on Brock Lesnar being close to signing a new WWE deal and Triple H focusing on the IC and US titles. This article is by Mark Middleton. WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar is reportedly close to signing a new deal with the WWE, according to talk around at Tuesday's SmackDown tapings. Reddit user Mets Fan Forever, who has broke several WWE stories in the past, notes that word at SmackDown was that the lack of popularity that Roman Reigns has received as of late, Triple H is pushing Vince McMahon on the idea of keeping the title on Brock Lesnar. This is interesting news, and this means obviously that Lesnar will again be one of those guys that, appear on so many pay-per-views, very rare appearances on Raw. This is not a good thing in my eyes for the WWE. But moving on, if Lesnar does retain at WrestleMania 31, it would likely mean a continued special attraction schedule for him, like I just said. Triple H has recently been big on the idea that the Intercontinental title and the United States title should be important and mean something again. The plan, if Brock Lesnar retains, is to put the U.S. title on John Cena and the IC title on Daniel Bryan. The idea is that two top stars, Cena and Bryan, could bring legitimacy to the titles. Also, while Lesnar is gone, Cena and Daniel Bryan can main event Raw, SmackDown, and all the other events with titles at the top of the card. It was noted also that a lot can change between now and WrestleMania, but this is just one of the many ideas that are being talked about. Wow, that is like super, super interesting. Now, here's the thing right now. In the WWE, I don't know if anybody's realized that all heels, hold the belts, for one thing. I don't see that Roman Reigns is really getting a lack of popularity. It all depends on what city you go to. Certain cities will cheer you and certain cities will boo you. And it's like that with many superstars. I, for one, feel that if Brock Lesnar retains at WrestleMania, how is this going to affect the Money in the Bank briefcase that Seth Rollins holds? He only has till June to cash it in. I don't know. The WWE just feels like they have to hold on to these special attraction guys. And for what they got out of Brock Lesnar in this last contract, and, his appearances on pay-per-views, his lack of appearances on Raw and whatnot, did they really get their money's worth? I mean, really, because people were starting to get frustrated because the champion hasn't been around. And everybody's complaining, like right now with the build-up for WrestleMania 31, no Lesnar-Reigns confrontation. So, and this won't change as long as Brock Lesnar is champion. Now, if Brock were to lose the belt and was signed to the WWE, I have no issue with that. I really don't. Because then he can make his periodic appearances at pay-per-views and have a match with somebody, that really, in all essence, won't mean a real lot, but he'll have his appearance and the WWE will toe in the dough. But having him remain as WWE World Heavyweight Title Champion, I think it's a bad move. On the other hand, putting the U.S. title on John Cena and Daniel Bryan, if Lesnar does retain the WWE World Heavyweight Title, is a good thing. Because this way they can, showcase these two belts in a bigger way. I think people will be more interested with Daniel Bryan and John Cena both having those respective belts. There's going to be a lot of people gunning for them. Now, it could be interesting because we could see the likes of Stardust, Bad News Barrett, Luke Harper, guys like that going after the U.S. title belt, or pretty much the same with Daniel Bryan with the IC belt. I can honestly see that Dolph Ziggler, even though he's a babyface, could still go after Daniel Bryan, even though he's a babyface at this point. So there's a lot of things that could go on. Faces could face faces, heels could face the faces, and I think they could really, this is something that they probably should have done while Lesnar had this recent title reign, was to really try to escalate both those titles. I think they tried with Rusev, but obviously it's almost been a year since Rusev has had the U.S. title, and I think it is time for it to change. And but I think it could be very, very, very interesting. Um, all depending what the WWE decides to do. Now, like I said in this report that I was reading, Triple H is trying to convince Vince McMahon. Now, we all know Vince McMahon, he's an old school guy. He's very high on Brock Lesnar. Otherwise, he wouldn't be going out of his way to try to sign him. And, you know, it makes me wonder, is it a good thing for Brock Lesnar to resign with the WWE, or will it be a bad thing? Now, if Lesnar doesn't re-sign with the WWE and Roman Reigns gets a title, how could this change the U.S. title and the IC title winners at WrestleMania? Could be very, very interesting. In my eyes, regardless of what happens with the WWE World Heavyweight title, give Cena and give Daniel Bryan these respective belts. Let them try to make these belts a lot bigger. And, this would create more interest within the WWE when they have their pay-per-views, because you'll have bigger names that are champions, and it only can create much more enthusiasm for everybody. Yeah, people don't like John Cena, but you know something? If he's not going for the WWE World Heavyweight title, why are you complaining? I mean, this is a way for a while to make these belts bigger, and by somebody eventually beating John Cena and Daniel Bryan, that win is going to be more important than it would be if they just beat them in a regular match. So I think it could be a very, very good thing. So anyway, the link to this article is in the description box below. Check it out. Like I said, we see rumors every day, and sometimes I think things are put up there just to throw you off. And until I see other articles and whatnot about Brock Lesnar closest signing, I take it with a grain of salt. So anyway, it's Wednesday. Still really chilly up here in Hartford. I mean, the winds are whipping and it's like in the high 30s, barely hitting 40. Ridiculous for this time of year, because we have spring beginning at like 6:30 or 6:15 on Friday evening. So, we don't even have springtime temperatures yet. So anyway, NXT tonight. Um, Also, excuse me. I just got done watching 1989 Clash of Champions, where Ric Flair and Sting were in the main event, tag teaming together for the very first time against the Great Muta and Dick Slater, who was a replacement for Terry Funk, who ended up, in the hospital due to the constant slamming of the branding iron by Ric Flair, which caused an infection in his arm. And this was a pretty good match. The whole card was really, really good. We saw a very young Paul Heyman as Paulie Dangerously come out with the Samoan SWAT team going up against the Road Warriors. We saw the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott Steiner, back in their early days, coming out with Robin Green, the late uh, 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 wife of Chris Benoit, and Missy Hyatt. A lot of fun, a lot of fun, and the crowds were just like enormous back then. You get a chance to check it out. Clash of Champions 8, 1989, and so we'll see y'all next time. We're coming up probably on my alternate channel. I do want to talk a little bit about the tournament and the NBA's playoff picture, but that may be coming up a little later in the week. So peace out, everybody. Enjoy your Wednesday. We'll see you all next time. This is the Iceman on the Iceman V 2013 YouTube channel, aka Jeffrey Rose.